Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Petacola, founder of Second Chance Secrets and Secrets of Life and Death, empowering smart men and women to reinvent their lives after loss, divorce, or a major life challenge. I'm going to be talking today about giving and receiving because the theme for this month, February, is relationships. So giving and receiving is at the heart and core of relationships. The balance is really, really important. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. How is the balance in your relationships with your friends, with your family, with your intimate partner? Does it feel in balance? Do you feel like you're getting enough? Now understand there is no outside measurement for what is enough. It's an inside job. Does it feel enough? And here's an important part of that. Whether it feels enough may be just as much a result of your thoughts and your beliefs as it has to do with reality. Different people have different needs. In fact, there's the whole 5 forms of receiving gifts or giving gifts to people. Do you prefer a gift in the form of an object? Do you like special time? Do you like eating together? Do you like help around the house? What makes you happy may be different from what makes somebody else happy. So the first thing to remember about balance is, does your partner, does your friend know what makes you happy? And if you're not communicating what makes you happy, then you are partially responsible for any imbalance you might feel regarding receiving. In addition, your perspective can be colored by your past, by your experience of whether or not you're good enough, by your ability to actually receive. A lot of people, especially in the coaching and healing industry, a lot of women are givers. They're pleasers. They give a lot. And sometimes they have a hard time receiving. I remember one time I was visiting France. And I went down to the south of France visiting one of my sister's dear friends. His last name was La Roche, the Rock. And he was so generous and he asked for nothing in return. And I felt uncomfortable because I was not used to receiving so much attention. So you might have a little bit of issue about that. Are you open to receiving? Receiving is actually a practice, something that you need to work on in order to allow the universe to flow goods and services and love towards you. If you cut it off, it won't arrive. The universe will say, well, I guess she doesn't want any of that. So part of receiving is being gracious when you receive it instead of saying, oh, you shouldn't have. And part of it is recognizing when you're receiving gifts. And sometimes those gifts are not necessarily from an individual, or maybe they are, but you need to develop the awareness that you are receiving. That, of course, begins with gratitude. Look around you right now. What gratitude do you have? What do you feel grateful for in this room right here, right now? What do you notice? Well, first thing I notice is that amazing Navajo rug on the wall behind me. That takes me back many years to when I was living on the Navajo reservation with my first husband. I am so grateful that I have that rug because not only is it a beautiful memento of that time living in Fort Defiance, but we actually purchased that rug from the weaver directly, no middleman. So that felt really good to be able to honor the artist. And it's a really fine rug, although I have to say it has faded a little over the years. That's the problem with sunlight. So what else? Well, I'm grateful for the flowers. And I'm grateful for that picture. Oh my gosh, I am so grateful for the picture up there in the corner. This was a painting painted by my mother in memory of an experience I had as a very young child. I believed that a herd of imaginary horses, invisible, had come to support me. This was right around the time that my sister, who I had bonded with, had gone off to school, I guess it was kindergarten, and I was alone. And these horses showed up, and I told my mother about this experience. And of course, I remember nothing about this except that I have the painting and the story that she told me about those imaginary horses that took me all around, that gave me a lot of attention. And one day, when I no longer needed them, they flew up into the sky and became stars. So of course, I have really great gratitude for that. So this is a practice. This is a practice that you can use to open yourself up to receiving. Now let's talk about giving a moment. Giving is something that comes easy for me because I'm a pleaser. In fact, I have developed the capacity and ability to suss out what other people want. So I can always figure out a good gift to give somebody. Although sometimes I worry a little bit too much about getting exactly the right gift. But I have the capacity to take the role of the other, to imagine what they would value. Now, there are people in this world who don't have that capacity, that have a difficulty imagining what somebody else might want, because they came from a different background, a different life experience. Those are the people that you need to tell what it is that you need, but in a way that's gracious, that in a way that is not greedy, to help them so that they can figure out how to please you. Now, if it's a partner that you're talking about, women, your man wants to make you happy. And if you can tell them, oh, this makes me so happy, they'll remember and they'll do it again. In my years of experience working around behavioral change, I have found that you get a lot quicker change when you acknowledge the right things rather than harping on the wrong things. So do you have any questions? Put them in the comments section. Tell me what your balance is. Are you better at giving or receiving? And what kind of things do you like to receive? Do you like to receive verbal appreciation? Do you like to be snuggled? My husband's a great snuggler, and I love that. Do you like help with work around the house? Help with the children? Does that make you feel appreciated and given extra space? Do you like gifts? You know, I'm an Aquarius, so material possessions, although if you look around my room, you probably would argue with me, are not as important to me as they are to my husband, because that's part of who he is. He loves the material world. He's an artist. He likes to mold the material world into new designs and creations. Whereas me, too much stuff feels like a burden. It's like, oh my gosh, where will I put it? So understand in your relationship, what does your partner appreciate? And What do you appreciate? What do you need? What do you want? And communicate that with your partner. Now, of course, the other thing you have to remember is that your perception is influenced by your childhood experience of whether or not you had enough, whether or not you got enough love, whether or not you felt worthy. So if you don't feel worthy, sometimes you don't even think about what it is that you want. That was me for years because I was so busy trying to please everybody else, I didn't even have any idea what I liked. That actually took a lot of practice. If you want to know more about giving and receiving, join this Facebook group. Well, of course, you're already in here, but I'm probably going to post this elsewhere as well. And join these trainings. Or make yourself available to some of the events that I have coming up. And I will list them in the comment section. Yes. That's all I have for today. Remember, to give and to receive is the foundation of your relationship. And that the balance is both a matter of reality and perception. And that if you do not feel like you're giving enough, you might ask yourself, are you giving to yourself? Because if you're not giving to yourself, why would anybody else? This is a really important key. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of this very romantic month and be brilliant. Bye for now.